Hey everybody, welcome to Harmon Garage. I'm Aaron, and yeah, we're gonna bring back an old project today. Not super old, but it's been a little while since we worked on her, and she's been quite the pollen catcher, to say the least. That project that I'm talking about is Swamp Thing. So you guys seem to really like this truck. It got a lot of views, a lot of action on the other video that we made on it, cleaning it all up and everything. So I decided we'd go ahead and make another one. And this truck's got one problem. I ain't got no motor in it. So when I did up all the cleanup and everything on that truck, I already knew what motor was going to go in it and transmission. If you've been following along on our little charade here, you'll know that we've got Sparky, the old diesel truck, short bed, that we were throwing together for my nephew, and then Swamp Thing came along and it was a nicer truck. So we decided to go with that one. Well, we got it all cleaned up. We got it. Interior's nice, body's pretty nice. We just need a motor and transmission to put in it so that it's ready to go. And we have one right here. This is the 4.3 V6 700 R4 that we put together and put in this truck. Now we're taking it out to put in that one. So that's the project that we're doing today, and we'll see. Maybe by the end of this video, Swamp Thing will have tires that hold air, and maybe by the end of this video, this 4.3 will run. But let's not get crazy and think both of those things are gonna happen. I mean, it's not like we're gonna drive it or something. We're just gonna get it closer to being done. But I'm teasing, because by the end of this video, I don't know about driving, but I'm sure hoping she's running. So we've got everything disconnected on this. Got the cherry picker all ready. Literally got to grab a hook on the plate up there and jerk the motor and trans out. We'll set them on the ground. We still got some cleanup to do in the engine bay of Swamp Thing. And we got to get it up here where we can work on it on concrete, and so on and so forth. So here we go.
Got a tranny on it too.
Oh crap.
Back end sitting in.
Now I might have to take the starter off though.
Lower it a little.
No.
Forward with it.
Go ahead and do it. we got the motor out, sitting on the cherry picker. We got Swamp Thing brought up here, got the mount switched over to the ones that I built for the other truck. And there was a bunch of other stuff that we had to do that was just pretty easy stuff, so I didn't really film it. And the last 2 days, we've had gale force winds, and if I would have tried to film anything, you would have just heard wind in the camera, and or it would have blown my camera over on the tripod and broke it again, and we can't afford that. So we haven't really done much. I've been working on some other stuff, cleaning up some of the property here at the shop and stuff like that, and working on another truck for a buddy that I'm not putting on the channel. So anyways, we're back to it. It's time to stuff this motor in here, see how far we can get. All right, well, we thought about it, and before we put it back in the truck, we're gonna go ahead and change the spark plugs out, because it's a lot easier to get to them out here than it is with it in the truck. So get these changed real quick. And is there anything else we need to do to it while it's out?
We can't put the distributor in or the starter in until after it's in, so.
Yeah, I think it's just change the plugs. I think is all we're gonna do while it's out. And we'll get it stabbed in there. Okay. One more thing that I kind of sort of forgot about that I'm gonna do before we put it in. This TV cable is broken down here, so I'm gonna go ahead and change it out, because it's a lot easier to get to right here on the ground than it is when it's up in the truck and you're fighting it. So you guys never mess with one of these. They go down in there. It's got that little deal there with the hole in it. Hopefully you can see it. And then it's got this wire that sticks out of the transmission with a hook on it. So if I let go of this hook, there's a good chance it's going to go down in the transmission, and it's going to be a real pain in the rickus to get it back out. So I want to make sure I don't let go of this while I get this all set up. There we go. There's the deal I was telling you about. That's that just hooks into there. And then, oh crap! Ooh, saved it. I just gotta pull on this while I put that down in there. Let me hold that. Oh. Dang it. The old seal stayed in there, and the new one's got a seal on it, so it won't fit. Pull it. Just keep tension on it, you know, rather than pull apart. All right, that's it. That's in. Now we should be able to stick this motor and trans in old Swamp Thing here and start putting this truck together. All right, here we go. Time to stuff this thing in here. Let's roll it over before we go. It's been about a week since I filmed anything. I'm sure everybody noticed that I missed putting a video out last week, and there's a lot of reasons for it, and some are personal, some are business related, but some I'm gonna tell you about in an upcoming like extra video or something, and some is just better left alone. But with that being said, I want to make sure you guys all know that I will not be at the truck gathering this weekend. Like I said, some stuff came up, and that's one of the things that's taking a hit. I can't go. So we're not going to the truck gathering. I'm gonna try to get to some other shows that I didn't plan on going to this year, just to get out there so you guys can come and meet me and see me and whatever if you want to. And if you made plans to go to the truck gathering only because I was going to be there, I apologize, and I'm sorry for the late notice, but I didn't even know until like 3 days ago. So sorry, I apologize. It's kicking my butt because I've been looking forward to it for a year, but things happen. Sometimes they're out of your control, and this is one of those things. So, and like I said, that's bad news, but good news happened also, and I'll do a video about that. I'm not going to include it in this, but still finishing up the Swamp Thing engine install here. I don't have the parts that I need to get some sort of exhaust put on it, but I think as long as I don't go revving it and doing anything crazy, we can still make it start this video, and I'll just fire it up, let it idle, or just run at low RPM for a little bit of time with no cooling system and no exhaust, and it should be okay. Shouldn't hurt nothing. So the goal is still to fire this truck up in this video. I've been doing a lot of stuff in the last week that I haven't filmed anything, but everything and no, this didn't take me the whole week, but everything underneath this truck is done. Transmission cross members moved and bolted back in. Transmission's mounted to it. Drive shaft is installed. Starter's in. Wiring is in. Basically what I did is I brought this back to where it was when it was in Sparky over there. So if you want to see all that stuff up to this point, go back and watch the engine install video in Sparky. There's a playlist for Sparky, and yeah, you get the picture. So anyways, motor's in, everything's hooked up. We got to drop the distributor, we got to build spark plug wires, we have to fill it with engine oil, we have to put transmission fluid in it. We're not even going to run a fuel system, we're just going to put gas down the carburetor, because this was a TBI motor, which I'm sure everybody's aware of, and it doesn't have provisions for a mechanical fuel pump. So we're gonna have to run an electric pump. I've got a fuel pump relay out of an OBS truck that we'll put in and wire all that in so it all looks fairly stock and professional and whatnot at another time. This time we just want to get the motor sealed up completely by putting the distributor in, which in order to do that we got to pull the number 1 plug, get it to top dead center. We'll drop the distributor, we will build spark plugs, then we'll go from there. So I'm gonna stop talking because I'm sure you guys are tired of listening to it, and we'll get some work done. All right, first thing we're gonna do, fill this thing up with oil, because when I pulled the motor down and regasketed it before I painted it and everything, obviously I took the oil pan off, we drained all the oil out of it and whatnot, and it hasn't had oil in it since. So before we start cranking on it or anything like that, I want to make sure we get it filled up. Did change the oil filter, by the way, while we had all that apart and putting it back together and everything else. So basically it got a full oil change. Just a 5-quart jug. I'm sure it takes at least 5 quarts, so I'm not even going to bother checking it. I'm just going to dump it all in there, and it'll be enough to crank it without hurting the motor. We can always check it and see if it needs more or whatever later after it's had some run time. Alright, that's enough. Like I said, 5 quarts will definitely be enough to start it and whatnot, crank it, start it, all that stuff. Even if it's not fully topped off, it'll be enough. All right. You guys are probably thinking, huh, he just said he wasn't even going to check it. Why is he putting the dipstick back in? Because I don't want it sitting up here. I'm not checking it. It's got 5 quarts in it. What do I need to check it for? I know how much is in there. And transmission, we pulled the motor out and had the transmission tilted all the way up, and we let it sit there and run until transmission fluid stopped coming out. So I'm pretty sure it's about this low. So we'll pour this in there. It's like 4 quarts, a gallon, and between what's in the torque converter, and this 4 quarts, it should be enough that we don't burn the pump up in the transmission if we start it for a minute. And then we'll worry about checking it and topping it off and whatnot later, just like the oil. Mind you, with all this being said, the wiring harness that's hooked up to this motor, I pulled out a Sparky because there wasn't a wiring harness in this truck when I got it. And Sparky was a diesel. This truck was a gas truck, and obviously we're putting a gas motor in it. And hopefully everything's the same. I don't even know. I haven't even hit the key. I put a battery in here, hooked it up, but I haven't even hit the key to find out if it's going to crank or not yet. It might not. Okay. That seems good. I'm acting like I really don't care, but I actually do. I know that, you know, torque converters usually hold, let's just say 5 to 6 quarts. And the 700R4 usually holds 11 or 12. So if I drained out everything that came out, the torque converter is still full. So there's 5 to 6 in the torque converter. I just put 4 in, that's 10. Yes, it's a quarter too low, but it's not, oh my goodness, we're not gonna burn the pump up. So, not worried about that. Engine oil, 5 quarts. It might be a quart low too, but it's fine. And does it take that long to check it? No, but I don't have more oil or transmission fluid to put in it right now. So I can check it, but I can't do anything about it anyways. So I know it's safe to do what we're doing, so we're just gonna do it. I just noticed that I never tightened down the bolts, the mounting bolts on the carburetor. I just stuck them on there. So we need to do that. And I need to bring the tools over here to pull the #1 spark plug out. And then we'll hook up our push button. I need to make sure I have power. We don't need to do that yet. I'm gonna do stuff and then I'll come back and tell you what I did. All right. Got my spark plug out, got my carburetor bolted down, I got my starter button wired in, I grabbed power off my distribution block up here, and I got my starter exciter wire grabbed over here. So this is the first time I've ever even attempted to crank this thing over. So I don't have the ignition key on, so we're not shooting power anywhere or anything like that. I just got it wired directly with this. So we're gonna go ahead and hit the button, see if it cranks. If it does crank, I'm gonna let it turn a couple times. Our oil pump isn't gonna be driven because we don't have a distributor in there. So I don't wanna let it crank a whole bunch of times because we're not moving oil at the moment. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit the button, see if it cranks. If it does, I'll let it roll over 3 or 4 times, and then we'll go ahead and put our finger in the spark plug hole down there and try to find top dead center. So here we go. Okay, apparently it turns over. That's pretty good. So I got my finger in the spark plug hole now. I can see the timing mark on the balancer, and it looks like we're pretty close to the timing mark. The timing tab's gone, but I know about where it should be, and it looks like we're pretty close, but that could be on the wrong stroke. So we'll just see. And that just blew on my finger, but we're gonna run it around again. There, that seemed a lot better. And there's more than one timing mark. Okay, that's pulling on my finger. So we know that's the intake. There we go, right there. That should be pretty close. Motor's nice and broke in. I can turn it over by hand on the crank pulley. We'll go ahead and throw our spark plug back in. Alright, now we're going to go get our distributor, see if we can't get it stabbed in there. Okay, you guys might be able to see the distributor sitting here in the corner of your screen. We'll get to that and what it is and whatnot in a minute, but for right now I'm going to try to get my resemblance of a Sasquatch butt down in here, like so. Got a flashlight in hand, and what I was doing, looking to make sure that our oil priming rod is in there and still in place, which it is. So now what I'm doing is trying to turn it to the general area that it needs to be in for our distributor to line up properly. So it's tough being big sometimes, but that's why I work on square bodies, because especially when it's got a V6 in it, there's lots of room for activities. Even I can get down in here and work on this thing. So it beats the heck out of laying over the core support and the radiator and hanging your head out there with your neck on the air cleaner stud and whatnot. Anyways, enough of the BS. So I went online, I ordered a ready to run distributor for a 4.3 V6. This was a TBI motor, so it had a electronically controlled distributor with a separate coil before. Now it's going to have an HEI. So I ordered one that has everything, and all we should have to do is stab this down in here, get it clocked in the general direction of where it should need to be, and hook our ignition wire up to it, and we should be good. So and there's certain things I'm noticing, like this oil pressure sensor that's over here is probably going to hit the distributor before it goes all the way down. And stuff like that. Should be able to go all the way down right now. I don't know, maybe this distributor's not going to work. Oh no, it's already hitting that sensor, that's what it is. Alright guys, I'm going to have to pull that out. We're not using it anyways, I'm just using it to fill a spot, but we'll have to pull that out and put a plug in it, and then we'll come back and finish stabbing this distributor after I get, ow, 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 out and back in. Alright, I saved you guys the moaning and groaning and discomfort of watching me climb back in this engine compartment, but I found a plug and I got it installed in there where our brain quit functioning. I got it installed where our where our sensor used to be that was in our way. So I got that done. Now I just got to get this all in the right spot where our distributor's all the way down, which is right there. So it's right there. We're pointed in the general direction of number 1, which is also a good sign. I'm not going to tighten my clamp all the way down, but we're going to get it snug, and I'm hoping that we're fairly close with the timing. Actually, I'm gonna turn this back here. Our vacuum advance is hitting our coolant hose over here. So I turned the body of the distributor so that it's not. Actually, I think what I want to do I don't have to do it right now because we don't have any coolant in here, but I'm going to take our heater hose off from back here, and I'm going to take the fitting out and just put a plug in it, and then I'll pull this plug out of the water pump and we'll hook our heater core up here on the water pump, and we can put a flat plug in there, and then we'll be in a lot better shape over there. So in the meantime, I'm going to pull that out. I'm going to go see if I have a plug that doesn't have a nub on it, like an Allen plug. We'll get that put in there and get that out of the way so we can turn the distributor where I want it to be, and then I'll go ahead and snug down the clamp and put the cap back on, and then we'll be ready to make our wires, and then we'll be ready to start this thing. So I'm going to turn you guys off before I climb out of here because it's almost embarrassing, and I'll bring you back when we're ready to make wires. So here we go. Alright, well, I got our hose switched over to here. You can't really see it anymore, but there's a plug down there. I got it taken care of. Got our distributor set down. Got our cap back on. Got our clamp snugged down to where you can still turn the distributor, but it's not gonna like go moving on its own. And now we're down to wires. And if you know me, you know I hate buying wire sets because they come in lengths that you can like come off the spark plug and like wrap it twice around the brake booster, come back around the carburetor and hook it on the distributor. And I hate that. It really sucks. So with that being said, build your own 8mm wires, boots, straight ends, so they'll fit. And that's what we're gonna do now. I'll show you guys that have never made a wire before. I'll show you one, show you how we do it, and then I'll speed it up till we're done, and then we gotta find an ignition wire and hook it up to the distributor and blah 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 blah. We still got a little ways to go, so don't get all excited about the video being almost over and start depression or anything like that, because we still got some more left. So let's get started. All right, so if you know, you know. If you don't, you're about to learn. But a 4.3 V6 is literally a small block Chevy with 2 cylinders cut off. Like, they've got this, if I remember correctly, they have the same bore size as a 350, and they just like lop 2 cylinders out of the center and put it back together. So the firing order on this thing is extremely hard to remember. So if you don't know what it is and you're wondering, I'll give you a second here to grab your pen and pencil so you can write it down, because it's terribly hard to remember. Okay, you ready? It's 1 6 5 4 3 2. No, I'm not kidding. That's actually the firing order. 1 6 5 4 3 2. So just like on a small block Chevy, you got 1 3 5, 7's cut off, and 2 4 6, 8's cut off. So that's what we're gonna do. And I like this size. So I'll grab one here. We're gonna stick it on our #1 spark plug. We're gonna find some routing here that we think is decent. Mind you, I need to leave room in case we have to turn the distributor. I made this mistake one time, one of the very first times I ever made my own plug wires. I stabbed the distributor, made my plug wires, routed them all nice and perfect, hooked them up, hadn't never started the motor before, ended up having to move the distributor, and the wires were too short and wouldn't turn enough. So make sure you leave some sloppiness to where you can still tie them up and make them look neat. So what we're going to do, these pliers here, these are Excel brand spark plug wire pliers, whatever. They got a cutter on the end, so we're going to go ahead and cut it off because that's the length we want right there. And then they got a stripper section here, so we're going to put her in the stripper. You don't want to squeeze all the way down when you do this because they don't work very well, and they will cut through your electrode piece that you need. So there's some little fuzzy stuff on there. You take the fuzzy stuff off. Now these, when you buy these sets, they come with these clips that I have right here that'll go on an HEI, and then they come with the other clips that are for a point style distributor where the wire has a metal sheet that goes inside the post on the cap instead of outside. So make sure you grab the right ones. We're going to take the core of the wire here, bend it hard over the side, and then we're going to put this on here so that the wire bent over is up against our end here. And then you should just be able to put them in the crimper and crimp them down, but that never works right for me, so I always just take and squeeze it together a little bit first. And then once I got it squeezed together, then there's actually a crimping spot in here. Put it in the crimper. give her the beans. And we got our end. They come with some lube to help you put them on, but I found it doesn't really help you put them on. So you just kind of start forcing it in there, and you're never really going to have a lot of luck just forcing it in there. So I get a small flat tip screwdriver, and you kind of get it forced in there to where you can go at an angle and grab that end, and then you use the screwdriver to pull it into place. And then once it's in place, you're done. First wire's done. So, like I said, looks like the camera battery's about to die, but we're gonna hope it doesn't. And we're just gonna go wire by wire and make these. So I'm gonna set you guys back where you're not in my way, and you can kind of sort of watch me work, and we're gonna time lapse this and get these wires knocked out. Okay, got all our spark plug wires made, got them all hooked up. Last thing I can think of that we need to do before we pour gas in the carburetor and try to start this thing is, I'm pretty sure I know what our ignition wire is. I know what it was on the diesel. I just want to bring the power probe out, turn the key on, check it, and make sure that it is the right wire before we take the time to hook it up. Because if for some reason something's different and that wire is not powered on the key, then I'm sitting here trying to start something that doesn't even have juice. So I'm gonna go get the power probe out and grab the wire that I think it is. We'll turn the key on in this old girl and see if we got ignition source. Alright, I got my power probe. I'm going to go inside and turn the key to the on position. And if I'm not mistaken, this wire right here should have ignition power. So check it right now. Showing the ground, which so far so good. Now we're showing 12.1 volts, which is even better. So I'm going to turn the key back off. You guys are going to try to hear me over this obnoxiously loud semi driving by. I'm going to put an end on our power wire, our ignition source. I'll hook it up to the distributor, and then we'll get some fuel out here, and maybe I'll clean up some of my mess here a little bit. We'll see what happens. Alright, I don't know about you guys, but I'm about ready to call it a day. So I'm going to go over here, turn this key on. I've got a bottle of gas over here that I just spilt all over the engine when I tried to set it down and it fell. So there's a good chance if it backfires through the carb, the whole truck's going to catch on fire. But we'll see. I'm going to turn the key on so we got power to that ignition wire that I just hooked up to the distributor. We'll pour a little gas in there, and I got my do-it-yourself button over here. We'll see what happens. Alright, we got the key on. We're gonna hope the transmission's in park or neutral. Sure it is. See what happens. Might have been a little bit too easy. Like, way too easy. Try it again. And I'm not sure we're in park because the truck just lurched, so let me get under there real quick and double check. I don't know why it wouldn't be, but as some of you know, and some of you will find out right now, I have ran myself over with a truck that wasn't in park when I thought it was. So if you notice, standing off to the side, because I always do that now. So it 100% should be in park right now. It's either in park or it's in first gear, so let's find out which one it is. I guess that'll be first gear. Okay, my intention is to fill the bowl up with gas and see if this thing will idle for a minute, but I'm not going to do it if it's going to drive away on me. So, alright, that's better. We're in park now. Now let's see if I can fill the bowl up without flooding the carburetor. Probably not. This is the smallest funnel I got. I don't know if it's small enough, but it's better than nothing. See what happens. Alright, I don't know how much I got in there, but let's see if it wants to run for 30 seconds. Seemed a little high idling. Alright, we know it runs. I told you guys we were going to start it up in this video, and we did. So, I'm going to go ahead and get my stuff cleaned up a little bit, and I'll be back with you guys in a second after I figure out how this got stuck here. What in the heck? How did that happen? You guys playing a trick on me? Did somebody like tie this up when I wasn't looking? Okay, there we go. All right, dang. It's probably the easiest I've had one start, like right off the rip. I didn't tease you guys about nothing. I didn't fire it up and then turn the camera on and fire it up again. Like literally, I tested that wire. I hooked that wire up after everything else we did. And you guys watched me. I poured a little bit of gas down there, hit the button, and it was game on. So it caught me off guard a little bit. Usually it's off. I mean, I know I'm halfway decent at stabbing distributors. I've had luck with them being right the first time and firing off fairly easy, but usually not that easy. So I'm grateful. It's late in the day. I was really trying hard to get this video done so it can go up for the Tuesday at 2 o'clock schedule, which here it is. You guys are watching it, you know it made it. But it's getting late. I'm tired. Once again, I apologize for missing last week's video. Just a lot of stuff going on. And I apologize to anybody that was planning on going to the truck gathering to see me. And no matter what, I will be there next year. And like I said, I'm gonna try to make it work so that I can get to some other shows. I still gotta finish Evergreen and go show it off, because at the end of the year, it's gonna be for sale, because that's how we do it. So anyways, if you guys wanna help out with the channel and whatnot, check out the merch site, www.harmongarage.net. There's a link in the description. And I just got some new stickers. These three right here. We got Harmon Garage sticker with Rum Runner, Harmon Garage sticker with Evergreen, Harmon Garage sticker with Groundskeeper. It's the first time I've had real stickers made. I'm gonna put them up on the website if you're interested in them. I think I'm gonna do like a 3 sticker set, because I'm not very good with the website building thing, and it's easier to do that. So we're gonna do a 3 sticker set. I'll have them on the website by the time this video goes live. So if you're interested, you can just go click on it and get you one. But I don't know if you guys saw this sitting here in the background while I was making this video. I don't know if it made it into any of the shots or not. I'll obviously find out when I'm editing, but I don't know if it made it or not. And some of you know what truck that is. Some of you have seen that truck on this channel a lot before. And you definitely want to watch the next video, because it's about that truck. And you might be able to own it. So don't miss the next video. It's gonna be on Hot Shot. You don't know what Hot Shot is, go to the playlist in the channel, find Hot Shot, and you'll see what it is. But like I said, we're gonna get into that next video. You do not want to miss it. I'm telling you, it's the deal of a lifetime. So make sure you watch the next video. And if you're not subscribed, please do. Hit the like button, leave me a comment. It all helps. I appreciate all you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be able to do this. Y'all have a good one. We'll see you next week.